First off, let me thank you for coming out. I appreciate, as always, you covering our program. And we got a great day, a day that I'm very excited about and going forward. You know, it seems like a couple years ago we had one of these with Coach Shiraka, and I had a similar level of excitement knowing where we were headed. And that's the way I feel today. So I have some thank yous to start with. I want to thank President Tate. I want to thank our Board of Governors, all the people that have to approve this. And I want to thank Kelly, who helped me through the process and discerning what was right and what was best for what we needed to do. It really was a team effort. There's a lot of people that helped. There's a lot of logistics, whether it's me going somewhere or bringing people in to interview. I talked to over 20 people in the process from every different level, from the NFL, from college football, from the CFL, the UFL, whatever FLs there are left. I talked to people from everywhere. It was my intention, as I met with some of you in my office that day, it was my intention to not put a cap or a cage on this process and just let it play out. And that's one thing I've learned over the years. When you don't do that, you usually make a mistake. And unfortunately, I've made some mistakes in my time, and I've also made some great hires. I'm extremely confident that this is a great hire. I will tell you that Travis Johansson, you know, when you look at his track record as a football coach, it's incredibly impressive. And when you talk to the people that I did that have been around him in his career, it kept coming back the same message, the same message, the same message. Now, as I was doing this, I was also retaining our football team, right? And then I was also recruiting in the portal. And we were also, as a staff, recruiting high school kids. So there was multiple things going on. And I know a lot of people got a little uptight about the timing of it. I'm not one of those people. I just felt like we had to find the right person, and however long that took, we were going to find the right person. And I'm extremely confident that we did. We found the right person in Coach Johansson. So I'm certain you have questions. I'll try to answer them the best I can, and then I'll formally introduce Coach and let you have some time to get to know him. So with that, questions.
How did Travis kind of come onto your radar? And then when you were talking to people about him and you said they kept coming back with that same message, I guess, can you kind of sum up like what that message was that would make him a good fit for your program?
Sure. Well, he's been in the hopper the whole time, but as I said, over 20 other people. And I was super, super deliberate on this because I know how important it is. We have a really, really gifted group of young players here that need to be developed. And one of the things that I kept hearing about Coach was he is a true developer of men, right? He's a leader, and whether it's developing staff members, if you look at the staff people that he brought into South Dakota, right, that worked underneath him when he was a coordinator and when he was the head coach, and see where they've moved on to from South Dakota. Incredible track record. So it's not just developing the players, it's developing the staff. And any great head coach, any great coordinator, that's a huge part of your job, is to continually develop your staff, because they're the ones that exponentially then can affect the players. So that kept coming back. A true teacher of the game, a guy who earned everything that he's received in this business. There's no shortcuts. You know, he started and just worked his way up and was successful at every level. At some points, freakishly successful, right? Like things that you get very excited about. So it's hard. Playing defense, as you know, at the very beginning, it's a losing proposition, right? Like they make a yard, everybody wants. So, but when you look at a track record over time at all different stops, that certainly was something that impresses you. But that's really one of the things that gets you started in the search. It's when you sit down and you really start talking about. And people think, incorrectly, by the way, but a lot of people think that it's schematics. Remember, we talked in my office about, it's not, it's about leadership. Leadership to me is everything. You got 11 guys, you can deploy them several different ways. I've never been a big worrier about that. It's about leadership. And can they lead the staff and can they lead the players? And that's what we have found. So that's really what kept coming back to me is a consistent, firm, yet caring leader that develops men.
Great defense obviously has been your baby over the years. I'm just curious, how closely does Travis's philosophies align with yours? And along those lines, do you expect to be able to hand it off to him like you do with the offense in Kirk?
I definitely expect to hand it off to Coach. But even with Kirk, like, we meet on everything, right? Our staff is totally aligned. One of my big principles that you guys who know me is vertical alignment, right? So we talk all the time about everything. We meet and go over everything. But make no mistake about it, Travis is the leader of the defense. And schematically, there are a lot of similarities, but that wasn't what drove the process, because there's a lot of things that are different as well. As late as 15 minutes ago, we were sitting down talking about tackling. All right, how are we going to teach? How are we going to merge things together? And I've always been one of the things that I take pride in is being a lifelong learner. Just continue to learn and learn. And in the interview process, with a lot of great candidates, I learned a lot of football. So, like, for me, it was an ongoing clinic as well, how other people are doing things, different procedures they're using, everything from defensive football to how they travel as a team and how they do all the things that they do. So it's a great opportunity to grow. It takes a lot of time. This has been a really tough, from the end of the season until we agreed to coming together. It's been hard, but we're going to be well worth it. The investment in that time I was willing to put into it with everything else that was going on, because I know it's that critical. We could have had a guy hired in 2 days. That wouldn't have been the best guy. And doing it the way we did it definitely produced the best candidate and the best coordinator for Rutgers.
Coach, you mentioned alignment. Just how does Travis's ability to develop and bring along players, how did that fit with what you want from a developmental program?
Yeah, that's us, right? That's who we are. I still believe, although we made great usage of the portal, I still believe wholeheartedly in developing your program through high school age kids. You bring them in, they came to Rutgers for a reason, and now you develop them. And you develop them not only as football players. I know they're getting paid now, I get all that, but they're still 18 to 22-year-old kids. And it's what my calling is to help them not only reach their goals athletically, but also get an education. Like, I think sometimes it's become such a big story about all the money and all that stuff. They're still here to get an education. Yeah, they're getting paid, but they're here to get an education and to grow as young men. And that's one thing that in our conversations I took away from Coach Johansson is that's important to him, just like it is Kirk, just like it is everybody in our staff.
We'll go Richie and Brian to finish up here.
Greg, in the past you hired some younger, not as experienced coaches. This go around you hired 2 FCS sitting head coaches, an FCS defensive coordinator. Was getting seasoned coaches kind of a point of emphasis this offseason?
I don't think that's what I went into it with, Richie. I just, first it was finding the leader. Like, again, you've heard me say it over and over. I believe leadership is everything, because there's several different ways to do any task. But if you have the right leader, then he can galvanize the people. He can get them to believe in it and make it their idea and then go do it and execute it, right? So it started with him, and then from that point, we started talking about staff. And we had, I want to make sure I recognize one thing. We had good coaches. It just didn't work, right? So a lot of the guys, I told them, I said, I don't know what's going to happen, guys. So if you have an opportunity, let me know. And it was good. Everybody landed on their feet, and that's a positive, because they're all good people, and I cared about them, and I care about them now, and I'll help them any way I can. But we needed to have a change. We did it, and I'm super excited about where we're headed now.
You guys invest a lot in your coaching staff, and I guess I'm assuming Travis and his defensive staff will be no exception to that. Why is it important for you to, when you're allocating resources of this program, to invest so much in your coaching staff?
Well, I think there's a lot of levels to that, right? The cost of doing business, being a Big Ten football program, the coaches' salaries they've climbed quite a bit. But I do think, if you really believe leadership is everything, then you got to go, you get what you pay for. And that's important to me. I have so much to do as a head coach. And I told you guys at the beginning, I said, look, if I could duplicate what we have on offense, on defense, I'd be a happy man. And I feel like we've done that. And great people, both leaders of the O and the D are great men, and they really are very, very focused on how to do their job, and I love that.